in a level of show-uppiness that has not been seen in the entire world since the Tzar bomb threw a glance at Hiroshima, Madam Web bombs harder than Morbius. That's something many would have thought to be a literal impossibility, as Morbius is a straight-up meme, and yet Madam Web manages to do even worse. Oh boy, well, I mean, that kind of says a lot in and of itself, doesn't it? But, and yet, here's the thing. Madam Web is a more interesting movie than Morbius, at least for, people like me who analyze the wider cultural stuff around it, because it is strange. And I'll explain in a second here, but first and foremost, allow me to quickly point out that the movie's not good. The movie is terrible. Do not watch it. I do not recommend it in the slightest. I'm merely saying that there are some fascinating aspects of it, because Madam Web, just as a baseline idea, as a concept, stood no chance whatsoever of not only earning back its money, but of surviving. It stood less chance of being allowed to continue to exist than a perfectly fried steak at a vegan convention, okay? It was doomed from the get-go. This isn't even the B team of the Spider-Man universe here. This isn't like Batman's Robin or anything like that. This is Robin's support staff that we're talking about here. Even the most ardent Spider-Man fan in the universe is probably going to surreptitiously reach for Google before being able to tell you these characters' names, much less what they're supposed to be doing, or the reason why they should be given a feature-length film. We're not even going to talk about how terrible the movie is, because here's the thing. There is an interesting shift going on recently, and it started about 6-7 odd months ago, or maybe even a year if we're being really optimistic here, where the video game industry were looking at the fall in ESG and was starting to begin to realize that it needed to start earning money. This, of course, has affected all the other industries as well, and one of the ways in which some of them have started pivoting towards the idea of earning money again, is by targeting the male audience. Now, this was, of course, verboten to an extreme degree, and Madam Web would be the furthest from that you would think, as it was created not only by the writing staff that made Morbius, why they still have a job, I don't know, but the woman who directed it stated that her goal here was to create a female-only cast, a feature-length female-only kind of film, right? And, I mean, she succeeded. This sounds like it would be woke as everlasting hell, right? And yet, it kind of weirdly isn't. In fact, it feels like almost the entire opposite. From the choices of characters, to the way they're presented, to the way they're dressed. The strawberry blonde in particular, and I don't even know half of these characters' names, but not even the characters, the actors' names for that matter, but she is introduced wearing an outfit that I looked at it and thought to myself, okay, well, she's coming straight from a far more lucrative job for the erotic entertainment industry that recently finished shooting a schoolgirl-focused feature-length piece as well, for which she was probably paid far more handsomely than for Madam Web. So, alright, all of our other female characters too are conventionally attractive, which is weird. They wear, I wouldn't say revealing clothes, but certainly what one would aim towards the general direction of drawing the male gaze, shall we say? And it's a dreadful shame that they don't actually show them as the superheroes at all in the movie, because the superhero outfits look even better. I might actually be interested in watching a movie with them as the superheroes, where they're wearing their skin-tight outfits, but none of that whatsoever. There's like 2 flashbacks in the entire movie where they wear that stuff, and nothing else. There's even a scene, okay, just think about this for a second, right? We've spent years abhorring the male gaze, to the point where we've vilified it to a degree, elevated to a level of wrongthink that has rarely been seen in human history, besides, bowing down and worshipping Satan in the 16 to 1700s, right? And yet this movie features the characters in question wearing their alluring outfits, or at the very least attractive, dancing on a table erotically, at the very least, in the general direction, surrounded by horny frat boys, as Britney Spears' Toxic plays loudly. Normally, this would be a description that fits better into a strip club than a current year superhero movie, and yet here we are. Huh. It kind of feels as if halfway through the production, because there's another mention of this, not mention of this directly, but there is a rumor going around that Silk, another Spider-Man-inspired property, fired its entire writing staff and rehired people to aim more towards a male-centric audience. Okay, that makes a fair deal of sense, considering everything, you know. Silk is an attractive female character whose entire reason for existence, essentially, is titillation to 13-year-old boys who like comics, and therefore aiming in at the male market makes a very large degree of sense. But that is also, again, very verboten. And this movie, it feels almost like they kind of finished the movie and then scraped all of it and filmed it all in a desperate hurry with like one outfit change. Seriously, no, they do. No, I think all of the girls, except for Madame Web herself, wears the exact same outfit through the entire movie, with maybe one wardrobe change. And this despite the fact that the movie takes place over a fairly significant period of time, allowing Madame Web to travel to Peru and investigate the mysterious background of the Peruvian Spider-Men, which are a plot point, don't ask me, or expect me to explain, honestly. The movie feels weirdly male-centric. It reminds me of really old television. If any of you grew up with stuff like Xena or Hercules, the old stuff, you'll kind of understand what I mean. Or, oh god, what was the other one? I can't remember now, but anyways, it's weirdly targeted, especially as one of the characters in question, Mercedes something or other, that's her name rather than the character, mind you, her greatest achievement in her acting career is making a great quantity of very grown men go watch a Dora the Explorer movie, and, you know, fair enough, I suppose. I swear to God, if they had marketed this movie actively as more of a man's flick, as more of an old-school superhero women in tight-looking clothing kind of thing, and actually, you know, done the hero part of that, rather than just them running around in the woods hiding from Black Spider-Man. No, literally, hiding from Black Spider-Man. I caught myself there for a moment, but no, that is actually a part of the plot. Yep. What can I say? It might even have done fairly well as some sort of an almost deliberately bad grindhousey style flick. It is all over the place. I feel as if, again, this movie was made and written and then completely remade in the 11th hour, which would also suggest that it lends some sort of credibility to the rumors around Silk, and credibility to the wider rumors that Hollywood is beginning to skew far more rightwards yet again, because they are noticing that there's no more money to be had on the left wing of things. It slots neatly into a great deal of, admittedly, highly theoretical assumptions. Well, it's not enough to save Madame Web, not by any stretch of the imagination, as it was also, again, weirdly enough marketed to a female audience first and foremost. Female empowerment a la the Free the Nipples movement, I can only assume. I mean, good? Bad? Does it even matter at this point? I think, again, this movie had no chance of survival whatsoever to begin with. The premise was too bad, the delivery was too bad, the marketing was too bad. Any attempt to throw in some light titillation at the end, some light PG-13 hot chicks kind of stuff, was never going to be enough to save what was already set up from the very first written word as an absolute train wreck. But it nevertheless provides us with a very fascinating data point to observe in the wider context of the ongoing cultural conflict. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see something sort of kind of similar in the near future. Think Birds of Prey, but, not modern day Harley Quinn, but Harley from 20 odd years ago. I might just be willing to pay money for that. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm reading far too much into this. If any of you have watched the movie, God help you if you have, and why? But I do think it is fascinating. Regardless, until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.